I'm Vanessa with Canadian Natural Foods, and today we're going to be making a vegetarian shepherd's pie. So let's get started. We're going to start with boiling our potatoes for the mashed potatoes. So we're using a yellow potato, and we're just going to put it into a salted water and let those boil up until they're soft. Alright, so while our potatoes are cooking, we're going to start preparing everything for the filling. So we're going to be using mushrooms, lentils, carrots, peas, some shallots, and some fresh herbs. We're going to chop up the shallots to a nice small dice. Next, we're going to grate our carrots. We're going to leave the skins on because that's where a lot of the nutrients is. So now that all our carrots are grated, we are going to take our mushrooms and we're going to put them in a food processor, and we're going to mash them up in the food processor so that it kind of mimics meat. So it's really nice and fast. Instead of chopping everything up, it just takes a few seconds to do this, and it'll look more like ground beef than when it's sliced up. That's all done. We've got everything kind of prepped up for ourselves, so we're going to get started in heating everything up. So in a saucepan at medium-high heat, we're going to add some olive oil into the pan. Let that come up for a little bit, and then we're going to add our shallots and our herbs. So I'm just putting in full sprigs of herbs into it, and then we'll pull those out at the end. It's going to really release the flavor. All right, so this is kind of, the shallots have started becoming translucent, so we're going to add in our carrots. All right, so we're gonna let those kind of saute up. Once they become a little soft, we're gonna add the mushrooms. And we're gonna salt and pepper at this point as well. All right, while that reduces down, I'm gonna be adding in a jalapeno. I really like heat in the food that I eat, so you can omit this if you're not interested in the spicy. So the next phase we're going to do, now that it's kind of come down a little bit, is we're going to add 2 tablespoons of tomato paste in there. And we're going to cook that for about a minute, and then we're going to deglaze our pan. We're not using red wine or Guinness or anything like that, but if you're feeling like you want to use it, you can use it instead of the stock that we're using. You can use some of that in a replacement. To kind of give a more robust flavor, we're using a miso stock, and so I've been really easy on the salt in this recipe just because it's going to add in there. All right, so it's kind of, you're getting this kind of crusty bit on the bottom of your pot, and that's when you're going to want to deglaze. So we're going to start with a cup of stock. And you're going to get a lot of flavor out of that, the crustiness on the bottom of that pan through the deglazing. So for this one, you can make a gravy, so you can do like a roux. We're not going to do a roux, but I am going to add some of the potato water because the starches are left in there, and that's going to help thicken everything up. At this point, we're going to add the lentils in. So we've used 2 cans of lentils. This is going to add protein in there for you. All right, we're going to add a little bit of tamari in here. So now that this is reduced down and we seasoned it to our liking, we are going to line the bottom of the pan, and we're going to add our peas. We want to add the peas at the very last stage. So we're going to pour it into our pan here. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to finish off our mashed potatoes, and then we're going to put them on top of this and put it in the oven and bake it. All right, so we're going to get started on our mashed potatoes. They're all cooked up. I'm going to grate some Parmesan cheese. We're going to be putting Parmesan, butter and egg yolks into these mashed potatoes to put on top, and it's going to give it a really nice browning on the top. So we're going to add our butter. I'm putting in about a half a cup of butter in there. We don't have a masher, so I'm using a whisk to mash the potatoes.
Kitchen hack 101.
It is a kitchen hack. When I first moved out on my own, all I used was a whisk. So we've got that mashed up. Now we're going to separate out our whites from our yolks and our eggs. And you want to add the yolks last because you don't want to cook them. So the temperature of the mashed potato has come down. Pop those in there. And you want to be fast because otherwise they will cook and curdle and it won't be nice and you won't like it. So whisk those up. We're going to pop these on top. So I forgot to add salted potatoes, big no-no. So we're just gonna sprinkle a little bit on top and then, you know, mix it in there. All right, but the parm adds quite a bit of salty flavor, so it's not the worst ever. We are going to spread this out. And we're gonna top this off with some nice Parmesan cheese, and we're using the Reggiano because it melts the best. Beautiful. All right, so we're gonna pop this in the oven and we're gonna bake it off at 350 until it's done. So probably usually around 25 to 35 minutes is what it'll take. All right, so we're back and it's out of the oven. It's looking really great and it smells delicious. So you're gonna wanna kind of broil the top after about 20 minutes and it gives it this nice caramelized look. Thank you for joining us today. Smash the like button and subscribe.